Cakeses. So today I'm going to do you a little video on how to do these cake hearts. They're super simple but look amazing. This is actually going to be a little bit of a two-parter. I'm going to put the second video up in a couple of days after this one, and I'm going to show you how I put these cake hearts together in a little cupcake sort of treat box scenario, to bring the two sort of styles together. And here's the box for you. So the second video I'm going to show you how I piped all the different bits, how I made the toppers, etc. Super easy, but such a really impactful way to bring it all together. So we're going to start with our geo mold, linked in the comments for you if you need one. Make sure it's got these bits on the back because they help stand it up. Okay, and what we're going to do is I'm going to run through all the little bits that I use. If you're new here, this is what we've got. We've got a glass jar or any type of jar with a spatula. That jar has got hot water in it. I'm going to use my acrylic ball tool and my colour mill colours. All linked below for you. The acrylic ball tool you can't actually get anymore, but I'll link one that's really close. I get asked all the time. So before we start, we are going to clean our moulds. Now, yes, they're clean. It's been washed after the last use. But what we need to do is get rid of any dirty watermarks, any bits left behind, any greasy residue, anything like that. I am still wearing my rings on my watch in this video. I do normally take them off. These weren't for an order. These were purely made for this video. So don't come at me for being unhygienic, blah, blah, blah. Okay. We are using a clear alcohol to clean that, but you can also use a lemon juice or a white wine vinegar. And our melted candy melts. Again, you can use candy melts or you can use normal white chocolate. Neither are real chocolate, so don't come at me for not using air quotes real chocolate, because white chocolate isn't real chocolate anyway. Okay. Now I'm done with my attitude. We'll crack on. I'm colouring it with a little bit of Colour Mill blush, one of my favourite ones. They're really good because they are specifically for chocolate. They're fat dispersible, so they cling onto the fats in the product and colour it. So they're really good for colouring buttercream as well, because it'll cling onto the butter as well as the icing sugar. Okay, so you don't need a lot. And then we're using Colour Mill Navy. I did show you Royal at the beginning as well. Didn't actually use that in the end. I used Navy and a bit of Booster just to boost the colour. And that came out really nice. You'll see the switch in a second to the dark. There you go. That's because I popped a little bit of Booster in. I just didn't show it on the video because I'm stupid. So we're going to grab our mould and we're going to do a couple at a time. Now that's because we're going to do 2 sets of chocolate, and it's going to set if we do it any more than 2 at a time. If you're not very quick yet, do 1 at a time. Okay, so I'm literally just whacking it in the mould any old how. Now, and then we're popping the blush on top. If you want a really heavy marble swirl, you need to push harder. If you want a lighter swirl and a less mixed feel, don't push so hard. That's the basics of it. And the ball tool really is like a game changer for this. It really does help to really get in those crevices and make sure that we're getting an even coating of chocolate all around the mould. Okay, and we're going to wipe our spatula, because if we get water in there, it's going to cause the chocolate to seize, and we don't want to do that. But keeping the spatula warm is the way forward. I get told all the time, people are like, oh my God, I never thought of doing that. I also melt my chocolate, while we're here, in a double boiler. If you don't know what that is, that's where you pop the chocolate on top of a saucepan with water in it. Only about 1 inch or 1.5 inches of water in the bottom. Make sure the water doesn't touch your bowl. It needs to be metallic or glass. Don't use plastic. And just gently simmer your water to melt your chocolate. I like that method rather than microwave, because the microwave can be a little bit harsh, especially if you don't need much. And also it means I've got a warm bowl, which keeps the chocolate melted for longer, and I don't have to keep messing about shoving it back in the microwave constantly. I've just got that nice warm bowl. That second bowl that I used for the navy, I have also warmed that bowl up prior to. I just sat it in a warm bowl of water and then wiped it out before I put my chocolate in. Obviously make sure there's no water, again, because we don't want any seizing going on. Now we are doing all of these exactly the same. I did 8 because I did 2 boxes of these and I gave one away to a friend. So I did 8 in total, and I did 4 of each design of the cupcake when we come to do the cupcakes, which I will like I say, second video will be out in a couple of days' time, and I'll show you how I did those. I'll just be really, really sneaky and making you want to come back and watch my videos more rather than putting them all in one video, because, you know, I mean like that. And I want to make you subscribe. So if you don't already subscribe, please do so. And if you do, drop me a like, drop me a comment, let me know what you thought. I'm sorry if I annoyed you by doing 2 parts to the video, but, you know, girls got to get content somewhere. So yeah, we are going to pop these in the fridge for 5 minutes once we've done this. We don't want to leave them in the fridge for any longer than it takes them to set. Okay, once they are in the fridge and they're set, if you leave them too long, they will start to sweat when you take them out, and then you've got to wait ages to decorate them. Okay, so I'm filling mine with some cake. This is scratch made chocolate cake. It's actually where I've leveled the tops off of a normal cake, and I've used those bits I've leveled off for this, so we're not getting any waste. Okay, and I'm popping a bit of vanilla buttercream in there. You don't need a lot. Okay, you don't need a lot. It sort of gets to this point here, and I say this all the time, obviously when I'm not splashing it out the bowl, that you sort of get here and you think, oh no, do I need more? Do I need more? I am popping a tiny bit more in here, but what you need to do is really, really push that crumb in. You don't want to overload it because it will make it greasy. And it doesn't matter what ratio you've done your buttercream at either, it's going to make it greasy. You can see how it's quite a firm dough here, and I'm really pushing that buttercream into it, and you can tell because you can't see any white in that mixture, even though I used a vanilla buttercream to mix into my chocolate cake. Okay, you could obviously use chocolate as well, it's completely up to you. You can use all sorts, you can use brownies, you can do a mousse if you fancy it, not my bag. You can use Rice Krispie treats, anything that you can think of that's obviously food safe and shelf stable. It needs to be shelf stable. So where you see people using like an Oreo mixed with a cream cheese, that is not shelf stable, and you would have to keep that in the fridge. Okay, they could not be left out at room temperature. It's not safe to leave cream cheese out of the fridge at room temperature. Okay, so these are really, really simple to fill. They're not tricky like a Cakesicle is. If you've watched my other videos, you'll know that I have a love-hate relationship with those. And while I can do them, they are a little bit finicky. These are a little bit simpler. You're just sort of pushing them in because it's got those supports underneath of the mould as well. You don't need to worry about cracking the chocolate too much as long as you're not mega rough. Okay, obviously it is still chocolate. It's not metal. It's going to break if you put too much force on there. Okay, and we are just filling all the moulds, and we want to fill them to about 1 to 2 millimeters below the line of where the chocolate ends on the inside. And you'll also see as I do it, I'm sort of pulling it away from the edge slightly without catching the chocolate. I am also wearing gloves for this point. Now in the UK, the regulations, advise you against wearing gloves for everything. However, I do wear them for this part because it's not for food safety. I wash my hands lots for food safety, but because it's messy. And I don't want all the cake up in my nails and things like that, even though I keep them fairly short. So I do wear gloves for this part. And obviously, I did an excellent job of the filming there, where I'm obviously doing one off camera, and didn't bother to check the lens and, move it. But here you go, you can see where we've got a little bit of a gap there so that we can get a full seal on the back of these. And that means that they're going to last much longer out of the fridge, and they're going to be fully sealed, and we're not going to have to worry about them going bad or anything like that. If you are doing these to sell especially, I would always advise conducting your own experiments to check how long your own recipe lasts out of the fridge. You can also absolutely use a box mix if you want to, and do it that way. You don't have to use scratch made cake. No one says you have to use scratch made cake. I just do. Same with the chocolate. I get asked a lot, oh, can I use proper white chocolate? There's no such thing as a real white chocolate because white chocolate hasn't got any chocolate in it. But you definitely can. If you want to use a normal white chocolate, you absolutely can, but you will need to temper it. I hate tempering, so don't do it. I don't use it. And we aren't doing a marble on the back because no one's looking at the back, dudes. They're going on cupcakes. Now, I had to make another batch of candy melts. As you can see here, this is a slightly lighter tone of blush. I think it's actually got a little bit of nude in it as well. But you won't see that from the front, so it doesn't really matter. I've done completely different colour backs before now, and you don't see it. They're going on top of cupcakes as well, so it doesn't matter too much. It's more important to have that nice flat back and get that full seal with the chocolate on the edges than it is to match the colour. Okay, you don't need to do the marbling on the back. If you've got some of the blue left and you're running low on chocolate, absolutely put the blue on or whatever colour you've marbled in, but it doesn't matter, you don't need to do it. And then we're going to pop these in the fridge for 5 minutes, and that was an absolutely seamless view there because I did put them in the fridge, but it didn't look like I did. So they went in the fridge for 5 to 10 minutes, and then we're just pushing on the edge of the mould. Oh, look at that. We push around the edge of the mould to release it. There was quite a lot of chocolate on the back of the mould today. I obviously got a bit slap happy. Normally it's a bit neater than that. But we're pushing on the underneath of the mould to push them out. You don't have to be too hairy-fairy with these. With the Cakesicles, you've got to be super careful when you take them out because you will break them, especially the first few times you make them. But these, they're a lot simpler to get out of the mould. I don't think I've ever broken one. I mean, next time I make one, I'll probably break them all now. But look how you get a beautiful marble on it, but they're all slightly different. I love that. They're not all the same. And literally, I left these as they are. I didn't do anything else to them. You could do a bit of a splatter. You could put a bit of luster on them. But I left them exactly as they were. They didn't need anything else. And that's why they're so, so simple. So that's the box all done with the cake hearts in there. And like I say, come back in a couple of days' time. I'm going to upload the full video on how I did the piping for the cupcakes as well. And how I made the toppers, etc. I'm going to link everything I used for you as well down below for both. And I'll hope to see you in a few days' time. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out my other socials in the comments down below. Like, subscribe and all that blah. Bye.